villagers toiled tirelessly under the sun, their efforts rewarded with bountiful harvest and abundant blessings from the waters that surrounded them. The people of Ikate lived in peace, prosperity, and joy. But amidst the tranquility of the village, a storm brewed on the horizon, as the memory of the curse laid 2,000 years ago upon them had been lost through time. The people of Ikate being ignorant of the evil blanket that laid over them, the curse of Ibunde, the former water priestess. In a small corner of the village of Ikate, nestled amidst the lush, greeny and vibrant community, lived two best friends, Ikot and Itok. Their bond was as strong as the roots of the ancient baobab trees that stood tall in their village. Together they shared laughter, tears and dreams. As fate would have it, both Ikot and Itok found themselves blessed with the miracle of pregnancy at the same time. From the moment they discovered the joyous news, they journeyed through the highs and lows of motherhood side by side. They would walk to the river together to fetch water, helping themselves as their laughter echoed through the trees. And when the sun dipped below the horizon, they would weave through the bustling market, their baskets brimming with fresh produce and the aroma of spices lingering in the air. But destiny is a fickle thing, often veiled in mystery and unforeseen twists. On a day when the sun hung low in the sky, casting long shadows across the village, both Ikot and Itok went into labor. The air bustled with anticipation as the village midwives hurried from one hut to the next, only to find Itok struggling, and for 2 whole days, Itok was in labor. For Ikot, the cries of her newborn filled the room with warmth and joy. But for Itok, fate had dealt a cruel hand. Despite the efforts of the midwives and the prayers of the villagers, Itok slipped away, leaving behind a void that echoed through the hearts of all who knew her. As time went on, Ikot's treatment of Ikwakwakwa grew increasingly cold and distant. While our own children were showered with affection and praise, Ikwakwakwa was relegated to the sidelines, forced to shoulder the burden of menial tasks and endless chores. He would watch with a heavy heart as his siblings laughed and played with other children, longing for the warmth of a mother's love that seemed forever out of reach, making him feel secluded from his brothers and sister. But try as he might, Ikwakwakwa could never quite understand why Ikot treated him differently. Was it something he had done wrong? Was he not worthy of her love and affection? These questions plagued his mind day and night, a constant source of anguish and sorrow. And so, Ikwakwakwa lived his days in quiet desperation, yearning for the love and acceptance that always seemed just beyond his grasp for his poor, troubled soul. Every Wednesday, Ikot would go to the market, and when she gets back home, in front of her hut, she would pause and begin to sing a sweet melody that had hidden instructions for her children and her adopted son. Willy, Willy, come here. Bele Kuku, come here. Blacky man, come here. Ikwakwakwa, sit down. Willy, Willy, come here. Bele Kuku, come here. Blacky man, come here. Ikwakwakwa, sit down. She will sing, instructing Ikwakwakwa to sit and remain inside the hut, while her children would come out happily to greet her. She would shower them with sweets and gifts, which she would always get for them every time she returns from the market, leaving Ikwakwakwa with a feeling of unworthiness and rejection from his own mother. This cruelty of hers would continue for months and months, and then something unfathomable happened. The wickedness of Ikot had reached the ears of the gods of the waters of Ikate, and so they rose up. One faithful Wednesday, as Ikot carried out her normal routine, singing and giving gifts to her children alone, the water spirits appeared in her compound, but no one could see them or feel their presence. They watched Ikot steadfastly, learning her every move. The wickedness of Ikot had attracted the gods of the water to her home. The next week, on another faithful Wednesday, when Ikot left for the market per usual, the water spirits arose from their abode and paid Ikot's house a visit. They disguised themselves, appearing in the form of Ikot. Having mastered her voice and mannerisms, they sang the song, beckoning on her children to come out and get the gifts as they always do. And as the song instructs, Ikwakwakwa was to sit and remain inside the hut. Willy Willy, Bele Kuku, and a black man ran outside, but on this day, their mother seemed to hold back their sweets, leading them as they followed after her. Ikwakwakwa sat inside the hut as he always does, but after a while, he noticed his family had not entered the hut. A bit worried, he decided to look for them outside, but he saw them on a journey with their mother Ikot from a far distance. The water spirits disguised as Ikot kept singing the sweet melody to the children as they followed happily after her, trusting their mother's lead without a shred of fear or doubt, as they were hypnotized by the water spirits. Soon, they got deep into the forest, and with each step they took further, more water spirits appeared behind them, following them to their unknown destination. Then they got to the banks of the village river, where the water spirits stopped and began to share the sweets to them. But as they ate the sweets, the spirits from the water came out to eat their souls as well. They were taken as sacrifices to the water gods. After sucking the life out of them, pretending as their mother, the water spirits returned the children dead. She cried her heart out, blood gushing out of her eyes. It was too much pain for her to bear. In her anguish, she turned to Ikwakwakwa. It was you! You killed all my children! Accusing him of murder, Ikwakwakwa tried to explain to Ikot that he met his siblings that way on his return, but her heart was deep in anger and fury. She dragged him out of the house. Ikwakwakwa begged his mother. He was innocent. "Who is your mother?" she snapped. "I am not your mother. Your mother is dead. First, you killed your mom from the womb. Now, you have murdered my children. Murderer! Murderer! I will make sure you pay with your life." It was a moment of revelation and shattered confidence for Ikwakwakwa on finding out the secrets behind his birth and the heinous crime he was now being accused of by the woman he called mother. In her agony and despair, Ikot dragged Ikwakwakwa through the village streets. His pleas for mercy drowned out by the cries of the villagers who gathered to witness the tragic scene unfolding before them. Summoning the four chiefs and all the villagers to the village square, Ikot made her accusations known to all, her voice trembling with righteous fury as
"Is this not the child that killed his mother at birth?" they
asked with mockery in their voices. their hearts filled with righteous indignation. And as the head chief passed judgment upon him, declaring that Ikwakwakwa should pay with his life for the lives he had supposedly taken, pleaded with the chief to spare a son's life and banish him into the evil forest, where he would face a fate worse than death. Moved by the spirit's plea and swayed by the belief that Ikwakwakwa would meet his end at the hands of the vengeful water spirits that dwelled within the depths of the forest, the chief relented, decreeing that Ikwakwakwa should be banished from the village, forever condemned to wander the cursed lands beyond its borders. And so, Ikwakwakwa was cast out from the village of Ikate, his heart heavy with sorrow and his spirit broken by the weight of injustice. But amidst the darkness of his exile, a flicker of hope remained, a silent prayer that one day justice would prevail and the truth would set him free from the chains of his wrongful condemnation. Ikot returned to her house, still wallowing in the depth of her sorrow. Ikwakwakwa fled from the village of Ikate, his heart heavy with agony and his spirit burdened by the weight of truth. The rain poured down in torrents, soaking him to the bone as he ran for hours. His only solace, the rhythmic pattern of raindrops on the leaves above. Finally, exhaustion overtook him and he collapsed beneath the shelter of a towering baobab tree, its massive branches offering a semblance of refuge from the storm raging around him. As he lay there, tears mingling with the rain on his cheeks, Ikwakwakwa's mind raced with questions, his thoughts consumed by the revelation Ikot had cruelly bestowed upon him. Who was his mother? Where did he come from? And why had fate led him to this moment of despair? In the distance, the spirit of his mother watched over him, her ethereal form a silent guardian amidst the turmoil of his emotions. But with each passing day, Ikwakwakwa found himself growing accustomed to life in the forest, the spirit of his mother guiding him and providing for his needs with a gentle hand. But one faithful day, as the sun hung low in the sky and the forest grew still, the river began to rumble and the water spirits of the forest emerged from the depths, their presence a harbinger of doom. Ikwakwakwa, frightened to his bones by the sight of the water spirits, thought his end has come as the water spirits had come to take his life. But to his surprise, they spoke to Ikwakwakwa in hushed tones, their voices filled with vengeance and fury, as they recounted Ikot's wickedness and vowed to exact revenge upon her. They instructed him to get the cloth of one of Ikot's deceased child, stating that they needed one of the belongings of a dead person if they would turn into them to use their image, and the only weakness they could use to get Ikot were her children who were now dead. Faced with the weight of their judgments, As Ikwakwakwa was being instructed by the gods, his heart pounded in fear and dismay. He could not help but wonder, what was the score the water spirits talked about? And why do they so desperately want to exact vengeance, specifically on his adopted mom, Ikot? Who was Ibunde, and how is Ikot related to her? Oblivious to all that had transpired in secret in the days before he was banished and lost his siblings, and the hidden secrets that surrounded the life and actions of his adopted mom, Ikot. Ikwakwakwa, out of fear and reverence, made his way back to the village of Ikate.